When a woman pretends she's over you, the first thing that gives her away isn't silence. It's the performance she puts on. She suddenly starts living as if her life is being watched, curated like a show for the world to see. Smiles appear brighter than before, her laughter seems louder. Every moment she shares feels polished, rehearsed, and staged. It's not the quiet of healing, but the noise of acting. She wants you to notice, wants everyone else to believe that she's happy, thriving, and better without you. But genuine peace never needs to prove itself. Healing is subtle, it moves quietly, and it doesn't ask for validation. If she truly had let go, she wouldn't care if you were looking or not. The performance itself becomes the evidence. It's not joy she's showing, it's marketing. She's selling the idea that she has moved on, but the irony is, the harder she works to sell it, the less believable it becomes. You'll notice how quickly it all happens, almost overnight. Before, she may not have cared to share every detail of her life. But now, she's posting more pictures, more outings, more smiles than she ever did when things were real. Her feed becomes crowded with proof that she's happy, proof that she's free, proof that she's over you. But none of it is natural. It's too much, too soon, and it reeks of someone trying to convince themselves as much as anyone else. She may suddenly pick up hobbies she never cared about, show up at events just for the photos, surround herself with friends she rarely mentioned before. All of it is a stage, and the center of that performance isn't really hurts you. Every exaggerated laugh, every filtered selfie, every caption about moving forward is a carefully placed reminder meant to echo back to you. She wants to be seen not just by strangers or friends, but by the one man she insists she doesn't care about anymore. What makes it more revealing are the contradictions behind her actions. She may block you from her social media, claiming she wants nothing to do with you. But then she checks your profile through another account. She might ignore your texts, but she doesn't delete your number. She'll tell her friends she's done with you, but those same friends hear her bring your name up far too often. These contradictions give her away more than anything else. Because when someone has truly moved on, they don't need to erase or control the presence of the past. Indifference is silent, calm, and steady. Pretending, on the other hand, is restless, loud, and inconsistent. Deep down, she knows the truth she's trying to bury. She hasn't let go, not fully. She still wants you to notice, still wants to matter, still wants her absence to be felt in your silence. The ghost of you lingers in her world, no matter how tirelessly she tries to deny it. And while she might fool the world with her performance, she cannot fool the one who knows her best. Shu. The quickest way she tries to convince herself and the world that she's over you is by bringing someone new into the picture. Almost suddenly, there's another man standing beside her in photos, another name casually mentioned in conversations, another presence meant to signal that she's already moved forward. But if you pay close attention, it doesn't take long to realize what's really going on. The affection looks hurried, the closeness feels manufactured, and the joy she projects has an edge of desperation to it. Rebounds rarely come from a place of love or clarity. They come from fear of emptiness. She isn't with him because she's found something stronger. She's with him because she cannot stand the silence that followed losing you. He isn't a new beginning. He's a placeholder, a distraction, a mask to cover the wound she doesn't want to confront. Every smile with him seems forced, every laugh a little too loud, every gesture exaggerated for effect. It's not intimacy she's showing. It's performance once again. The problem with using another person to move on is that the heart doesn't play along with the script. She may tell herself that this new relationship means she's fine, but her emotions betray her. She might find herself comparing the way he speaks to the way you spoke, the way he touches her to the way you touched her, the way he looks at her to the way you once did. Even when she swears he's so different, the very act of comparison reveals you're still her point of reference. People don't measure what no longer matters by highlighting his differences. She's unconsciously keeping you alive in her mind. The more she tries to showcase this rebound, the clearer it becomes that it's not about him at all, it's about you. Every photo with him isn't just her trying to prove she's happy. It's her trying to show you what you're supposedly missing. But if she were truly content, there'd be no need for such theatrics. Real happiness doesn't flaunt itself to make a point. Real peace doesn't need witnesses. The louder she plays the part, the emptier it begins to look. And the more you stay silent, the more her performance begins to crumble. Because the one thing she cannot stand is indifference. What unsettles her most is seeing you thrive quietly. Without trying, you become the mirror she cannot escape. Your calmness highlights her chaos. Your silence exposes her noise. Your genuine growth contrasts with her forced displays. Deep down, she knows the difference. She can sense that while she's rushing, pretending, and rebounding, you're simply living. And that truth cuts her deeper than anything else. Because no matter how hard she tries to prove she's over you, the shadow of comparison never leaves her. And the cruel irony is that the more she pretends with someone else, the more obvious it becomes that she never really moved on from you at all. Silence is the test she cannot pass, and it is in the quiet where her performance begins to falter. If she were truly over you, your absence would not disturb her. She wouldn't care if you called or not, if you watched her stories or ignored them, if you remembered her on a late night or forgot her completely. But when you say nothing, when you do nothing, that silence becomes the loudest sound in her world. It bothers her more than anger, more than arguments, more than anything else, because silence doesn't give her control. When you don't react, she cannot read you. And when she cannot read you, she cannot reassure herself that she still has power over you. That is when the subtle games begin. She may post a cryptic caption or a song lyric designed to stir your memory. She may share pictures that look too intentional, knowing they will remind you of what once was. Sometimes she will even use mutual friends to slip your name into conversations, hoping the words find their way back to you. It is all a test, and the only reason she sets it is because your silence unsettles her. Every ignored attempt eats at her pride. Every unanswered gesture reminds her that the control she thought she had is slipping through her fingers. The cracks in her act grow more obvious with her words. She may start exaggerating stories about you, painting herself as the victim and you as the villain, trying to convince others and herself that she no longer cares. But the irony is clear. If she truly felt nothing, she wouldn't need to keep retelling the story. Indifference never seeks an audience. The very fact that she keeps bringing your name up, even in anger, shows that she is still entangled. The opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. And she can't reach that stage. Because the silence you hold keeps her tied to emotions she cannot admit. Her body betrays her in ways her words cannot. She might avoid you in public but still stiffen when you enter a room. She might pretend not to notice you, yet her eyes flicker in your direction when she thinks no one is watching. Or she may overcompensate, becoming overly cheerful, overly loud, overly unbothered whenever you're around. Both extremes reveal the same truth: she is still affected. A woman who is truly free would not need to change her behavior at all. And as time passes, she begins to realize that her act is harder to maintain. Because silence, unlike words, doesn't fade. It lingers. It leaves her wondering what you're thinking, what you're doing, whether you've forgotten her or replaced her. That wondering keeps her tied to you more than any message ever could. And though she may try to act strong, her restlessness shows it. All your silence is louder than her pretending, and she cannot escape its weight. Over time, pretending becomes a burden she can no longer carry with ease. In the beginning, the act feels like power. She tells herself that posting new pictures, laughing loudly in public, or surrounding herself with distractions proves her strength. For a little while, it even works. She convinces some friends, fools a few strangers, and may even trick herself into believing she's moved forward. But as the weeks stretch into months, the performance begins to drain her. The smiles feel heavier, the captions feel emptier, and the energy needed to keep up the show slowly eats away at her spirit. What once looked like confidence turns into exhaustion. And those closest to her start noticing the cracks. Her friends begin to see the mood swings, the sudden withdrawals, the strange silences between her bursts of staged happiness. They hear her defend herself too strongly when your name comes up, or catch the way her voice tightens when someone casually asks how she's doing without you. She wants to appear free, but the truth bleeds through in every little detail. Pretending takes more effort than simply being honest, and eventually the weight of it presses down on her. Alone, when no one is watching, she feels it most. That is when the act collapses. Late at night, she scrolls through old conversations, unable to stop herself from reading words she swore she had forgotten. She stumbles on memories, on photos, on reminders of a connection she can't erase, no matter how loudly she claims otherwise. The rebound doesn't comfort her. The parties don't satisfy her. The public approval from likes and comments fades the moment she puts her phone down. What lingers is the quiet, and in that quiet, she remembers you. The silence she once thought would punish you begins to haunt her instead. That's when regret begins to grow. She starts questioning the choices she made, the pride that kept her from reaching out, the game she played to appear strong, the stubbornness that made her choose image over truth. She may not admit it to anyone, but deep inside, she knows she hasn't let go. Her heart still drifts back to what you shared, replaying moments not because she wants to, but because she can't help it. Pride locked her in a cage, and the very walls she built to protect herself now feel like prison bars. As time passes, the energy to keep performing runs out. She doesn't laugh as loudly, doesn't post as often, doesn't bother pretending as much. The world may not notice right away, but she feels the collapse within herself. The truth she's been avoiding catches up, and she realizes that pretending never set her free, it only delayed the pain. And in the quiet that follows, she begins to feel the full weight of everything she lost. Eventually, the performance cannot last, because no mask is strong enough to outlive the truth. At first, she may believe she can keep playing the role forever, that if she pretends long enough the feelings will fade on their own. But time exposes everything. The rebound grows cold, the social media posts lose their shine, and the excitement of pretending begins to wear thin. When the noise fades, what remains is the reality she fought to avoid, the ache of knowing she never truly let go. Every forced smile and every staged moment eventually turns into a reminder of the emptiness she carries inside. What was once a shield becomes a mirror, reflecting the very pain she tried to hide. The collapse doesn't happen all at once. It comes slowly, piece by piece, like a wall crumbling from within. She starts to notice that the new man she rushed into doesn't fulfill her, that the temporary comfort doesn't compare to what she once had. She may still speak highly of him in public, but in private, she knows the connection feels shallow. The laughs don't echo the same way. The conversations don't touch the same depth. The presence doesn't feel as natural. The more she tries to deny the comparison, the stronger it becomes. And in that comparison, regret grows like a shadow she can't escape. Sometimes, pride still pushes her to reach out, but never directly. She may like an old picture, send a random "how are you" message, or find excuses to appear where she knows you'll be. These are not accidents. They are her attempts to test the waters without exposing her vulnerability. But by the time she does this, the balance of power has already shifted. Once, she thought she was in control, but now she is the one reacting to silence. Once, she wanted to make you chase, but now it is her who waits for your response. And the weight of that realization cuts her deeper than anything else. Your silence becomes the proof she cannot ignore. It tells her you are no longer playing the game she built, that you chose peace over pride and growth over noise. She may have thought ignoring you would hurt you, but in the end, it hurts her more. Because she sees that while she was busy pretending, you were busy moving forward. While she performed for attention, you built a life without needing an audience. That contrast breaks her in ways no words could, and so the truth finally catches up with her. She never moved on. She only delayed the moment she had to face her feelings. Pretending didn't heal her. It only prolonged her pain. And when the act finally falls apart, she's left with the hardest truth of all, that she lost you not because she stopped loving, but because she chose pride over honesty. And now, with the mask gone and the silence unbroken, she realizes it may already be too late.